George Gervin. George Gervin, born April 27, 1952, nicknamed the Iceman, is an American former professional basketball player who played in both the American Basketball Association, ABA, and National Basketball Association, NBA, for the Virginia Squires, San Antonio Spurs, and Chicago Bulls. Gervin averaged at least 14 points per game in all 14 of his ABA and NBA seasons, and finished with an NBA career average of 26.2 points per game. Widely regarded as one of the greatest shooting guards in NBA history, in 1996 Gervin was named as one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. About George Gervin's early life. George Gervin was born on April 27, 1952, in Detroit, Michigan. Gervin attended Martin Luther King Junior High School. He struggled on and off the court until his senior year, when a growth spurt allowed him to average 31 points and 20 rebounds and lead his school to the state quarterfinals. He was a Detroit Free Press All-State selection in 1970. About George Gervin's college career. Gervin received a scholarship to play under Coach Jerry Tarkanian at California State University, Long Beach, but he had such a culture shock that he returned home before the first semester was over. 6. He transferred to Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and averaged 29.5 points as a sophomore forward in 1971-72. While competing in an NCAA College Division National Semifinal game in Evansville, Indiana, Gervin punched a Roanoke player. Gervin was suspended for the following season and eventually was removed from the team. About George Gervin's professional career. In 1972-73, Gervin initially played in Michigan for the Pontiac Chaparrals of the Continental Basketball Association. While playing with Pontiac, Gervin was spotted by Johnny Kerr, a vice president, basketball operations for the Virginia Squires of the ABA. In January 1973, Kerr signed Gervin to the Squires for a $40,000 a year contract. Gervin's time in Virginia would be short-lived, however. The Squires' finances had never been stable, and they had been forced to start trading their best players to get enough money to stay alive. In the space of only 4 months, they traded Julius Erving and Swen Nader for cash and/or draft picks. During the 1974 ABA All-Star Weekend, rumors abounded that the Squires were in talks about dealing Gervin for cash. The rumors turned out to be true. On January 30th, Gervin was sold to the Spurs for $228,000. The ABA tried to block the trade, claiming that by trading their last legitimate star, the Squires were holding a fire sale. However, a court sided with the Spurs. Within 2 years, the Squires were no more. After 2 seasons in the ABA, Gervin became NBA eligible in time for the 1974 NBA draft. The Phoenix Suns selected Gervin in the 3rd round with the 40th pick. However, Gervin elected to stay in the ABA and kept playing for the Spurs. With Gervin as the centerpiece, the Spurs transformed from a primarily defense-oriented team into an exciting fast-breaking team that played what Coach Bob Bass called schoolyard basketball. Although the Spurs never won an ABA playoff series during Gervin's first 3 years there, their high-powered offense made them very attractive to the NBA, along with their attendance figures in a relatively small media market, and the Spurs joined the more established league as part of the 1976 ABA-NBA merger. Right before the final ABA season, the Spurs had acquired star power forward Larry Kennan via trade, forming an offensively dominant 1-2 punch of both he and Gervin in order to strengthen their lineup and compete for a championship. In the final season of the ABA in 1976, the Spurs finished 3rd in a 5-team postseason playoff, which meant they faced the number 2 seed New York Nets for the right to play in the 1976 ABA Finals. The Spurs pushed the Julius Erving-led Nets to a Game 7, but the Nets prevailed 121-114 on their way to the finals, which they won. Right before the 1985-86 season, Gervin was traded to the Chicago Bulls for forward David Greenwood after missing multiple preseason workouts amid the possibility of being relegated to the bench by new head coach, Cotton Fitzsimmons. The Bulls' rising star Michael Jordan stated he was unhappy after the trade. This season would be Gervin's last season in the NBA before retiring from the league. Although by this time he was aging and no longer at an all-star level, Gervin was still effective on the Bulls roster, averaging 16.2 ppg, had another 40-point game performance, a season-high 45 points against the Dallas Mavericks, and played all 82 games. The Bulls finished 30-52, but it was enough for a playoff berth, clinching the number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. The last NBA game of Gervin's career was April 20th, 1986, Jordan's remarkable 63-point game against the Boston Celtics in Game 2 of the first round. Gervin recorded an assist and a personal foul in 5 minutes of play, and the Bulls would later get swept by the Celtics in the first round. About George Gervin's coaching career. Gervin coached for the Spurs from 1992 to 1994 and participated in the 1992 NBA All-Star Legends game, where he scored 24 points and grabbed 11 rebounds in 16 minutes. About George Gervin's legacy. Gervin was primarily known for his scoring talents. He had also received the nickname because of his rare ability to play the game of basketball at a high level without sweating. Gervin's trademark move was the finger roll, which he executed with unusual delicacy, touch, and range. Typically used by others to shoot short layups, Gervin's effectiveness with the shot extended all the way to the free throw line. Gervin's legacy has inspired other athletes. Basketball great Gary Payton has stated his childhood idol was Gervin and that he was his favorite player to watch. Gervin was also idolized by former NFL and Heisman-winning quarterback Ty Detmer. Detmer records in his autobiography that he was elated to receive Gervin's autograph one day as a youth in San Antonio. In 2021, to commemorate the NBA's 75th anniversary, The Athletic ranked their top 75 players of all time and named Gervin as the 42nd greatest player in NBA history. About George Gervin's awards and records. Gervin was inducted to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 1996. Additionally, his number 44 jersey has been retired by the Spurs, and he was named as one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. In 2009, Gervin was ranked number 45 on Slam Magazine's Top 50 NBA Players of All Time. In 2021, he was also named as one of the 75 greatest players in NBA history. He remains active in the San Antonio community with his 7 organizations designed specifically for underprivileged kids, including the George Gervin Youth Center. Gervin has said that his own experience as an underprivileged child in Michigan inspired him to get involved. At the time of his trade to the Bulls, he held nearly every significant scoring record in Spurs history. Many of his records have been surpassed by David Robinson and Tim Duncan. Gervin retired with the most blocks by any guard in NBA history. Though an NBA and ABA All-Star and Hall of Famer, Gervin never made an appearance with a team in either an NBA or ABA championship series during his 13-year career in American professional basketball. About George Gervin's post-playing career. Since retiring from professional basketball, George Gervin has been active in the San Antonio community by designing organizations for underprivileged children. In 1991, he established the George Gervin Youth Center. About George Gervin's personal life. In 1976, Gervin married Joyce King. The couple divorced in 1984, then remarried in 1985. They also have 3 children, the eldest child named George Gervin, Jr., who played for the Harlem Globetrotters and was a fan favorite while playing for the Norrköping Dolphins of the Swedish League. Gervin, Jr. also played professionally in Mexico. Gervin's sister, Barbara Gervin Hawkins, is a Democratic member of the Texas House of Representatives. Gervin's younger brother, Derek, is a retired basketball player who mostly played in the CBA and Europe. Thanks so much for watching. Please go ahead and like this video, subscribing, and also share to your friends.